mentioning pioneers in South African football, there is one woman whose name truly stands out. Having anchored her roots in Limpopo, she fell in love with the sport from an early age, and her passion led her to establish her very own team with a name that is deliberate with making it to the top. In 1989, Ria Stars was born, and it worked its way up into the Premier Soccer League until the year 2000. She has played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Women's National League, was a chairperson of the women's football at the South African Football Association, and even became the first black female vice president at the South African Football Association. She is a multifaceted businesswoman that strongly believes in the development and empowerment of youth and women in South Africa. Please welcome Ria Ledwaba. Welcome, May. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I am so excited to have you. I've been looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's definitely our pleasure.
Yes.
I'd like to start with your name.
Yes.
What does your name mean, and do you know what the story is behind it?
Well, I tried to research, and the little bit of my research was that it's a river flowing, and it end up where it needs to end up.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you tell me about your upbringing? I know you were born and raised in Limpopo. What was it like for you growing up?
Growing up in a family of boys, and being the last born, the only girl in the family. So it has been a journey where you follow your brothers. You follow wherever they go. My neighbor, also a boy who was my age. So basically, I grew up playing with boys.
And that's where your love for soccer started?
I think it comes from there, because I have to watch this boy playing. I couldn't play, but I didn't have a choice. I had to just watch him play.
So you just watched him, you didn't play along?
No, I didn't play along. I don't know. In me, probably it was a men's game. And I could just, if I couldn't play, I just have to watch him.
How did that then translate from just being a spectator when you were younger to actually developing and establishing your own soccer team?
I think for me, it's what you become, what surrounds you. So when I grew up with my brothers playing soccer. So I think the love of football came from that background.
And so what were the challenges like? I mean, it must have been quite interesting at the time to have your own soccer team, especially as a black woman. What was that journey like for you?
It's not like a career that I chose. You know, I was just driving around in Seshego Township one afternoon, and I saw young players, boys, playing in an empty soccer field. You know, boys can play the whole day. So I went there and I watched them playing, and I asked those boys, "Can I register you in this cheapest little league?" The excitement, because they just played every day there. There was no competition. There was nothing that they play as a motivation, you know. So when I told them I'm going to register them in the cheapest little league, it was like a dream for them. And indeed, we registered them. They played up to the national playoffs.
Wow.
Yes, that's where football started.
So I'm very interested to know, because I know the nickname for the team, Manyora.
Yes.
Who came up with that?
Well, I think the supporters, because they saw young boys who could not be defeated. You know, even when you think they're going to be defeated, they end up winning. You know, and I researched again, what is the meaning of Manyora? I found that it is people who persevere, who never gives up on anything that they do. They continue to persevere.
And I think persevere is something that you definitely know quite a bit about. I mean, obviously, you became a businesswoman within the business, which is usually reserved for men.
Yes.
It seemed as, it's seen as a gentleman's club and it's just men only. It's a men-dominated sport. What kind of challenges as a woman did you face that really questioned you and also strengthened you to continue on your path and continue going and working towards whatever your goal was for your team?
Well, in football, the first people to judge was the women, because I think it was nature. People just thinking football is a men's game. Mm-hmm. So when I was there and I started being really involved in football, I found that there were a lot of women who were questioning, what is she doing in this men's game? Mm-hmm. And for me that was the first fear, from women saying, what is she trying to do? Mm. But when I got into the thick of things into football, now I'm faced with men who are saying, oh, this young woman, what is she thinking she's going to do in this men's game? She will never survive, And I persevered. I persevered because from the first time, what I did was to say, I have a plan, and this plan, I'm going to take it one step at a time. Mm-hmm. I'm giving myself 10 years. I want to see me as the first team in South Africa from my province, mm-hmm. Limpopo, to be playing in the Premier Soccer League. That was my dream. Mm-hmm. I said, and I'm going to put steps in place. I know I've got children, I'm married, I'm a housewife, I must now cook when I come back from work and all that. But I'm gonna put plans in place to make sure that not any one of them is compromised. Mm-hmm. The football should not be compromised, my children should not be compromised, my husband shouldn't be compromised. So I put that plan. I said, in 10 years, if I'm not in the Premier League, I quit. And indeed, in the 10th year, that was in 1989. In 1999, my team was promoted to the Premier Soccer League.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel once you have reached the goal that you were working towards?
It felt so good. I felt like I have done what I needed to do in football. Mm-hmm. I could actually leave, But the excitement, not only for me, it was the excitement of the community in Seshego, where I come from. It was the community of Medingen, where I grew up, It was a community of South Africans who saw a team that came from the Little Chappies League moving each and every step of the way. It was not only being promoted. It was with challenges, with protest, with losing, with wanting to quit at some point. At some point, I nearly lost my life in a soccer field in Vembe, where I just thought, well, so be it, So a lot of challenges that kept me going, that kept me developed my character. Mm-hmm. My character was developed during those times where there was time where I felt, no. After that incident in Vembe, I felt, no, I don't think I deserve to be in this kind of an industry. Mm. Let me quit. But something inside, that small little voice that always say, no. Mm. You carry on. Why? One incident cannot make you did not die. Yes, it was a lesson, but here you are. And I kept going. I never gave up.
It must have also been quite a challenging time for your family, seeing you through through those moments as well?
My children were always saying, yeah, no, when we need money, you don't have money. But when the boys need money, they've got money for food every weekend. But fortunate, I think they also developed the love for football.
Yes.
You know, I think my boy were playing. My boy was one of the players in the cheapest little league. So he had no problem. But the girls also developed the love for football. I think I also got the support of my husband because he was a soccer player. Even when he was working for Iwisa, you know, he was a rep there. He used to have a panel bakkie. And that panel bakkie was the transport for my players because he was not working over the weekend. We used that bakkie to transport players from one place to another. So I really got the support. I did not miss one game. Every game that played from the cheapest little league until my team was in the Premier League, I was there.
So the presence is actually very important.
Yeah, it is.
So you managed to balance the presence on the football pitch as well as at home.
Yes.
What lessons do you think your daughters have actually taken from watching you in your journey through football?
They still say up to today, they still say, you are an amazing individual. We have never seen such a passionate someone that does things to the end, that doesn't give up. In fact, they always say, we don't know how you do it at some point, but they know also that I am this faithful person. I believe so much in God. I believe that in each and everything that I did or I do, it is not my ability. It has never been my ability. It has been the purpose that God has planned for my life, because indeed God says, I have plans for each and every one of you. So I just believe it was a plan, and I said, God can give me something, a purpose for my life, and not make me go through it. Even when I have challenges, I know that He says, you'll go through those challenges, you'll go through the fire, but you shall not be burned. You'll go through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. So I strongly believe that kept me going more than any other thing. The support of the community, support of the people in the team, support of my family. I think more was this faith in God that I believed in, and I said, I will not fail. Yes.
And is that the same faith that carried you through when you then got into the leadership position within the South African Football Association? I know it was very challenging when you were the vice president.
I think I've learned so many things because I've gone through from birth with boys, boys all the time, where this is a soccer, it's not a girls' soccer team, it's a boys' soccer team. When I got to the South African Football Association, and remember, I served the South African Football Association before I became a national executive member.
Yes.
Who was elected. I have served there as the chair of women's football, even when I was not elected.
Yes.
Yes. So one lesson that I learned when my team got into the Premier League was when the late Ntateta Unyanu was the chair of the Premier League. And he called me to his office and he said to me, he gave me the constitution of PSL. And he said, little girl, I'm giving you this booklet. This is going to be your Bible in football. Abide by it. Know it. You can never be defeated if you know what you are doing. And I think that taught me, because every little document that is put before me, I read it. I don't just pace through it. I read it. So when I went to the organization and I was elected then to be an NEC member, there were many challenges. There were many incidents where I felt I would question things. You know, when we bought the place, the academy in Nazareth. Do we know why this person is selling the property? And because you question those things in an NEC, you would want to believe that they will be checked by the administration. Because remember, as an NEC, our responsibility is to make policy. We don't run football. We are not administrators. We go there to put policies in place, and the administrators will then implement those policies. So whatever you say in the NEC, you believe it should be implemented if it's agreed upon in the board. So I can say to you, there were many decisions that were taken but never implemented. Never implemented. But then in 2018, I was then elected into the vice president. And you expect to, when you are a vice president, you are at the highest level now, you have then to lead this team of the NEC and make sure that when you leave and they leave, they've learned a lot of things. They are leaders that only believes in themselves. And most of the time, for that 4 years when I was the vice president, I have never questioned anything in the board because I did not want to find myself as if I'm questioning the leader. So what I will do, after the meeting, I'll go and ask for a meeting so that I understand when I'm sitting there, I'm supporting our decision. I cannot come there and be able to speak something else. So there are certain things that we are taking decisions that are, one, I don't think they are constitutional. Two, and I couldn't argue because you bring them there. And I'm your vice president. It becomes very difficult for your vice president to actually contribute in that NEC. But there was a point where I said to myself, I am not going to, I told him, I said, President, I am not going to go down with you. If you do the right thing, I'll support you. But I'm not going to support the things that I believe and you do not disagree with me. I would not do that. I am not going to sell my soul. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to continue to guide you, to be able to come to you as a president and discuss matters with you. And I'm hoping that you will be able to do the right thing. As I sit here today, I'm telling you that SAFA does not abide by the Constitution. The Constitution is one man in that organization. And unfortunately, I refused to keep quiet.
I can hear by what it is that you're telling me how passionate you are, from where it started in the Little League to even now when you are occupied a leadership position within the Football Association. And I think it's also very indicative of the kinds of challenges that women face, particularly in leadership positions. Do you think that maybe being a woman has something to do with not really being heard or listened to? And how do you think, even now as we even have Banyana Banyana, that's a champion team, how can we really transform South African football to be all-inclusive, not just include women in important conversations and decisions that are being made, but actually uplift and uphold the status of women within the sport on all levels?
I think women, it's not only in football. I think in a lot of organizations where women are holding position of power, where they are sitting in the board, you will find that board, it's basically all men. There are one or two women. Yeah, I'm talking about SAFA that has got 40 members, only 5 women, you know. So it's the character of the people, the capability of the people to be able to raise, and you can't raise issues if you do not read. You must first read, and so that you can participate in that board. And I think a lot of women, they still fear when they are in a board where there are only men. They do not come out. Not that they are not capable. I think we have capable women in South Africa. We have seen in government where they now have 50-50, you know. We have seen a lot of women coming up and speaking out, you know. So I just think we do not speak out a lot. I think there is still this fear of not being heard. There is still fear of, I'm not sure if what I'm going to say, the men are going to accept it, you know. So those are the things that I think when people like myself fight, it's not fighting for a position for myself. I'm trying to show the next generation that they should stand up and speak out. If you are not convinced about a decision that is taken in a board, you must be able to raise your objection. You must be able to have an input. Whether at the end of the day there is a vote where people have outvoted you, you should be steadfast to know that you have raised your matter. It is recorded somewhere in the minutes, because many a times where you raise issues and they are not taken because you are outvoted, but at a later stage you see that people can't even look at you because what you said 2 years ago, it's now coming back to everybody is now saying, hey, but we should have listened 2 years ago. Many a times where those kind of decisions are taken, and because people just keep quiet, people come to the board and not say a word. And I'm not saying you should be talking all the time. You know, you should be talking because there are issues that you are raising that are factual, that will make your organization to prosper. I would have wanted to see young people into South African Football Association. We have got former soccer players that have done so well in this country, but they are not taking part in any of the structures of the organization. And I'm one person who believes that soccer does not belong to the people who are members. I think it's a national asset. We can't all be in there. Football should not be only for the members that are there, as if other people can't say anything. I believe that if I don't agree with something, I must raise it there, whether I'm defeated or not. But the bottom line is that I have raised my issue, and I've raised my issue based on what I know would be able to uplift the standard of our organization.
I can see that for you it's very important, and I'm learning that it's very important to have your passion that is also coupled with the knowledge and also upholds the Constitution, due diligence, the proper way, proper channels of doing things. I think we've seen a lot of situations and instances where there are opportunities that are not really used to the fullest capacity, where transformation doesn't really happen, where opportunities even for young people aren't really made available because there is lack of following the protocol or doing things in the right way. So I am learning from you how important it is to be passionate and to be knowledgeable as well. And I know now that you are in the development space, and I know that you have grown from football and you are yet again pioneering in another industry when it comes to importing air conditioners. I don't know, what are the similarities between the football and this particular business? Is this one less stressful than the soccer, or is it really all the same thing?
All the same, all the same way. First, when you go to a meeting of air conditioning, consultant, project managers, all men.
All men. Sure.
Yeah. You get there, when you walk in, it's like, we've got a woman, what does she know about air conditioning? What does she know about refrigeration? But also there, I did the same thing. I mastered the book. I looked at what needs to be done. It's developing now, it's changing now. I see there are a lot of women consultants, women project managers, and all that. The majority of companies, it's white dominated. So you fight in that space where when you fight in space with people that have got capital, that have got the muscle to be able to do things. I mean, we are the only black importer of air conditioning in this country. But do people who employ, do people who make tenders, do they know? Because you talk about BEE, you talk about women empowerment. Do people who put that tender there about air conditioning know that there's only one black-owned importer of air conditioning in this country, that you have advantage over the others? No, you don't. You still go there and fight that space with the white and fight the space with people that have got huge capital to be able to bring 100 containers when you can only bring 10 containers a month. It's the same topic. I have never heard any woman that says, no, I am in this company and everything is just as good as it should be.
I'm just glad that we have women like yourself, Ma, who really, fight to be seen, fight to be heard, and show us as well as younger women that no matter which industry you are in, no matter what it is you're doing from development to business, it is important to always stand up for yourself, stand up for the right thing as well, no matter where you go, no matter what path your journey takes you on. And I know you're also, through your foundation, the Ria Ledwaba Foundation, you're doing a lot of development and empowerment work for young people and even, older people. I mean, you were telling me earlier about the story in the community of KZN and the things that you have done in your capacity personally and through your foundation to develop and lead from that perspective. I'd like you to please, if you don't mind, just give our viewers advice as a woman who is established, a woman who has done so many things, but as well to tell them about the importance of developing as you lead.
I think the importance of not only doing things for yourself, doing things for others, developing where you come from. For example, where I come from, there's a high school. At one point I went to see the principal. I couldn't believe what I saw at the school. And I couldn't believe that I'm a teacher by profession. I could feel proud to enter that particular school and feel good about myself. And I did something about it. You know, I gave back. I said, what is it? Can I just do a classroom, you know, a classroom for matriculants? I went to a school. The principal tells me the student, when they arrive at the school, when they grab a chair, they hold on to that chair for the whole day. So if they change periods going to one class to another, they carry the chair. He needed about 70 chairs, you know. And it's a government responsibility to be able to make sure that each and every school, the learners, when they come to school, they don't fight for desk, they fight to learn, you know. So, and we went there and we contributed to that particular school. It's this, not only to receive, to also give, to also teach young people that in life is not only about ourselves. It's about the people that are around you. And I always say you can't be a successful woman or man in an environment that everybody is poor. It's only you who is successful. And even when you look behind you, there is not one individual that you can point and say, look at this young girl, look at her. You know, I took her from where she wanted to give up. Look at where she is today. Our foundation is to make sure that even those people that have no voice, have nothing, we can be able to appoint a lawyer for them. We have partnership with lawyers, psychologists, so that they can assist them just to take them through those processes. And I believe there are many people that are doing that. And I think we should be encouraging people to look out, you know, look out at your neighbor, look out behind you, you know, don't be just this successful woman that have nothing to show to anyone, that your success is only for you and your family. And I have done a lot that I've never spoken about because I didn't do them for publicity. It's giving back, just giving back. I'm happy that you were sharing with me that that's what you do in your farm, you know, where you have taken young girls there, that there is something that you are planting, because when they leave your farm, they are able to do something somewhere. You might not know in 10 years, but after that you might even get to know that this young girl is the young girl that I took there that had nothing, but look at her today. She is moving to be somebody else.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ledwaba. I am so grateful that we had this conversation today, and I have definitely taken so many lessons. One, as I said, about how your passion should be coupled with knowledge, and know how to play the game, so to speak, and also never give up. And, you know, these challenges, and this is what we also always say to young women in our programs, that developing your character from an early age is very, very important. Because throughout life, whether you're in football, whether you're at school, whether you are in a different kind of business, your character is the thing that's going to carry you through all those challenges. And obviously, we still have a way to go as women when it comes to these industries and having our voices heard. But I think I would like to just express that I have heard your voice very clearly, and I really hope that it echoes throughout various communities to all the young women from urban, rural, and even township communities, so that they themselves can actually also embody that spirit in what they do. Thank you so, so much for your time. Maybe if you've got your last word of wisdom to share, I would really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for this opportunity. It's an honor for me to sit here with you. But I want to say to you, what you are doing, you might not realize. You might be thinking you are speaking to Ria. You are speaking to this woman that is sitting here. But don't forget that our conversation is going to be heard out there.
Yes.
That's how people start listening. And I want to encourage you. I see you have got your young daughter that is learning, which is the things that I always say to family. We must teach our children to be able to do the things for themselves when they are still young. For me, I came here because I knew that what the conversation that we are going to be talking about is going to help a lot of young boys and girls out there to change their thinking, to change the way they do things, to believe that in each and everything that you do, you start with your passion. Do what you like to do. Don't do what other people are doing. We all have dreams. Take your dream, build your dream, go up with your dream, and your dream will be realized. But what we are doing is just to inform young people that don't look at people when you see them when they are at that high position and say they just arrived there. There's a lot of things that goes through in the background that you work around as an individual. That's why I say at some point you want to give up. You were even saying, or sometimes when you are just about when you have been struggling for years and years, and when you are just about to achieve, we always give up. So these are the lessons that I want people to realize, that there's nothing that comes easy. And I think there are capable women in this country that I believe can take this country to greater heights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Ledwaba. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please do be part of the conversation. Comment, let us know what you thought about this insightful conversation that we had. Until next time, see you.